Welcome back to Lyre, everybody. I'm once again here with Jericho and Purp, or else.
Meowdy.
I have blackmail on them. That's how I get them to come back every time.
Oh. Wait, what's my blackmail?
Genuinely considering
Fun
it
podcast
now.
topic.
What could it be?
Oh, that thing. Okay, I remember.
The first thing so last time we had the ball and it went bad because our protagonist discovered racism in real time, or specifically the queerness of interspecies relationships in the setting, I guess, which he managed to miss by never going outside so far. It's a very Marrow move, honestly. The first thing I see is snow falling gracefully from the night sky. It's much warmer up here. Everyone's candles and torches are lit, so I assume they're inside of their homes. There are a few people walking down the streets, but the village square isn't nearly as crowded as it was 2 days ago. I look up and see the lanterns burning with vitality fire. The area around them is almost completely devoid of snow. As it falls from the sky and hits the ground, the snowflakes dissipate and melt onto the cobblestone. I find a warm spot in the alley and sit down. I bring my knees up to my chin and warm my arms around my legs. The lower half of my face is buried in my scarf, and I can still see snowflakes fall onto the black sleeves of my suit and melt. At this point, I don't really have any thoughts. I just feel like falling asleep here. I'm also waiting for that trap door to open any moment, and for Lyle to come crawling through. I regret leaving him at the party. The whole situation just makes me feel so stupid. I don't know what's right or wrong anymore. I feel like I'm an adult. My brain just
I hope so.
No, that's just not even slightly what it says. I feel like I'm at fault. But I also wish someone would have warned me. I don't know. I feel so stupid right now. Everyone's always telling me how clever I am, but sometimes I feel like it's on accident. After sitting on the ground for a few more minutes, I hear distant mumbling. It's a low and quiet voice that sounds sad. It's coming from the fountain. I shuffle closer to the corner of the building I'm leaning against and lean around it. It's Adrius. The hell is he doing here? And why was the door... And why the door... Is that why the door was unlocked? He's sitting at the fountain looking up at the statue of his mother. I could see him mumbling to himself, rubbing the rim of the fountain with his ungloved hand. The water around the fountain is glowing a bright blue. I'm starting to think that the spring water here has some sort of luminescent quality to it. Or it's a portal. Don't fall in, you're gonna get beaked. I watch him continue to talk to the statue, almost as if it was actually her. It reminds me of when people pray to their gods. How they sit down at an altar and talk to it as if it's some sort of vessel that they can use to communicate with the being. This is different, though. This isn't his god, though. It's his mother. I look for a bit longer before I realize that I probably shouldn't have seen this, especially lurking in an alley. I hear the trap door open at the end of the alley and turn to see Lyle poke his head out of the entrance. He has a blanket in his arm.
I like to imagine just his head completely taking up the diameter of the hole, just kind of poking out like a groundhog.
Like a dog sticking their head through the fence.
Exactly.
And then all the floof just...
Exactly. Yeah, the neck floof just consuming.
Yeah. He closes the door softly and walks up to me.
Are you okay?
No, not really. I'll be fine, though. Are you gonna be okay?
Yes. After you left, I didn't want to be there. Everyone kept looking at me, and a few people actually questioned me about it.
I'm sorry for leaving you there. I just really didn't want to be around anyone after that. I don't know how to feel, but everything just seems so confusing. I really do like you, though. I see a small glimmer of a smile on his face.
Richter, it's fine. I know.
He takes the blanket and wraps it around my shoulders.
Let's go back to the castle. Even with the vitality lanterns, it's too cold out here.
Okay. He leads me to the tunnel, and I look back towards the direction of the fountain. Adrius is probably still sitting there.
Something wrong?
No. I just have a lot on my mind.
I wanted a moment.
Yep. He opens the door of the tunnel and leads me down the stairs.
Yes, me too. I have to call up for a second that I remember he mentioned the vitality lanterns last time, and I didn't actually notice that you can see them in that CG, but I think that's a really good little bit of like background design here of actually like,
yeah.
This is an issue that I have sometimes with Adastra is there's a lot of like things that they describe about the tech and you kind of like squint at the back here and you're like, is that what are they talking about?
Yeah.
And here that's like very clear.
The original Ad Astra game has a criminal lack of art that I would love to see addressed at some point.
Right.
So at some point you're like, okay, none of the technology that's ever been described is ever depicted in the entire story, basically. like the only thing we have is some screens. We don't know what any comm devices look like, or the lingua, or the drones, or the lasers.
The drones are my main
any number of things. And of course, I've talked to you about this before, but it's just the fact that like the entire proposal scene has no imagery attached to it, to the point where you literally don't see the ring in question until Amicus is wearing it in the final end screen of the entire game.
Right.
And you have to realize to even look for it to realize he's wearing it. But oh right, the thing from it was mentioned hours ago. It's like it's the exact urge that leads to you making so many comics about that game. Is you in many cases you're illustrating entire scenes that are otherwise just a sprite hanging out. And you're like,
yeah,
but what does it look like?
Who spent the entirety of December illustrating like scene after scene after scene, and they're all so on point. And that's the thing that I love is like Ali's writing is very good. And I don't. This is getting very off topic, but it's like it's a cool thing when you write a thing and people can like all be on the same page about what's being described here.
Yeah.
Because like that illustrator went through all those scenes and it was just like bang, 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 scene after scene. That's like, yep, that's all the eyes for detail are here. Yep. But we've also never seen these things before, and so that's one thing. Like Lyre really does kind of kill it on that front, where it's like there's a very distinct visual identity to this world that I feel pretty immersed in right now. Like this is definitely like the weird Alps location, and we've got heating lamps, I guess, magical heating lamps that also match the magical water, and it's like it gives my brain food for thought. It's good. Yeah.
Flip's hair. I actually had behind the scenes stuff because I knew that Sora was working on the animation in that sequence for months.
This is very true.
But no, yeah, it's great when you can support things with the visuals as much as possible, especially great when the games are actually completely made of visuals. Like it takes so much more work, but having the backgrounds be made for the game is extremely effective. And it's like the more I play Undefeated, the more it does get distracting. It's part of the format, and people are at different levels of accepting with it, but it starts to get rough when almost every time the environment is ever described, it directly contradicts like the photos that were chosen as the background of the game. And a lot of the games that don't have their own illustrations, the text and the visuals are actively in conflict with each other, where they just straight up like don't match on a regular basis, to the point where I'm like, maybe just change the text to match the background then, if that's gonna be what you're stuck with. I don't know. But yeah, having the total creative control to just draw and write everything yourself means that you can just make it work, and all you have to do is stop living other lives the entire time you're working on it. Just completely get consumed in this one project forever.
I mean, that's what early RTF was. I was so limited with what I had that I had to constantly change the script to be like, wait, I don't even have a facial expression like that. I have to like completely rewrite. I used to rewrite scenes all the time back in the day.
Yeah. He lowers the door and it closes with a resounding thud. I can hear him locking the door, and then a few seconds later, he gently takes my hand in his paw. After leaving the tunnel, we walk down the corridors for a bit. His paws rest behind his back, shyly, as he carries on by my side. We haven't spoken a word since we left the tunnel. My clothes are a bit damp, and the shoulders of Lyle's suit are also a bit wet. I wish the ball hadn't ended like that. He gives a sigh of agreement and nods. What happened to the king?
He left to go get a drink.
Yeah, I think he was just there. At the
Yeah.
ball.
That was the last we heard it from him.
Yeah, the impression I had is he was still in the room. And one of the things that stuck out to me thinking about that scene, I'm like, it feels like the king just disappears when he probably should have said something or reacted in some way during the big scene. But he's not mentioned or observed, and he doesn't react. And I'm like, huh. So to the point where it almost makes me feel like he was gone. He gives a sigh of agreement and nods.
Yes, I'd hoped it would have gone better. Even at parties, the nobility refuses to let loose as others would.
If letting loose means being less ignorant, I wouldn't expect them to do it outside of parties either. Lyle snorts and snorts. Bleh, I'm falling apart already. Lyle snorts and lets out a laugh that echoes up the hall ahead of us.
Richter, oh my god!
Bestie.
You should have said that to them earlier.
As I was leaving, please don't remind me. I wish I could start over. We round the corner and there's another long hall, torches lining the walls with bright blue flames.
We could
What?
start over?
Scandalous.
He stares back at me with those big eyes of his and holds out his paw. I'm not exactly sure what he has in mind, but my curiosity suppresses my mood. He wants to dance, I think. Sure. A smile lifts his cheeks and he takes my hand in his paw, pulling it forward and getting down to one knee.
Oh.
I'm proposing to him.
May I have this dance?
Like, it would have been like the most tone-deaf possible moment to propose to somebody. Dance.
Yes. Right here.
I look up and down the hall, craning my head over my shoulder. The corridor is completely empty, the only noise being the sound of the fires flickering about. What about the music?
The music won't start until we begin dancing.
I bite my cheek in confusion, but the curiosity becomes overwhelming. Okay. Before the word can even fully escape my mouth, he rises from his kneeling position and begins to guide me through a dance. It is nothing like the one from before. Then he begins to slowly hum to himself. His soft voice rumbles up through his chest like someone playing the bass. It's not a waltz. It's unlike anything I've ever heard. As we spiral down the hall, our feet coming close enough to step on each other's toes, but never making contact, he picks up the pace. We're practically sprinting down the corridor at this point, prancing about like fools. No audience, no rules, just the two of us. He takes both of my hands in his large paws and begins to circle around me. I follow suit, and soon we're spinning in circles. The entire time we do this, he's laughing while humming a tune. It sounds like a typical waltz. I also break out into a fit of laughter. He lets go of my left hand and twirls me in his paw. I stumble a bit, tripping on the back of my coat, and he laughs. As I steady myself, my face flushes red, and I look up at him. He's got a paw over his muzzle, trying to stop himself from laughing. I playfully lunge at him and push him against the stone wall.
Ooh.
He doesn't budge at first, but along with his help, his back presses into the wall. I press both my hands to the wall behind him and look up into his eyes. Kabetan. Suddenly there's a noise a bit further up the hall. Before I can react, Lyle pulls me to the side and we move behind a pillar. He holds me against his body tightly, and I look up to see his ears twitch. I can hear the footsteps pass by up ahead, but they continue on, not venturing in our direction. Before they're even out of earshot, Lyle and I look at each other, and I begin laughing uncontrollably. I imagine it would have been like for one of us to, those stuck-up pricks, to find us sweaty and out of breath wandering down the corridor. Just as we're coming down from our hysterics, a thought crosses my mind.
What is it?
We're gonna have to pass by the ballroom to get back to my room, right?
Oh, yes. We could...
Take the outside route? What?
We could go to my bedchambers for a bit.
Oh.
It's not far from here, and we won't run into anyone.
Sure.
But only if you want to.
That sounds nice.
I have a really nice fireplace in my room, too.
But with an ass this fat, we won't need it.
Servants have probably already lit it, so it should be nice and warm. So if you're okay with it's this way.
Lyle.
Yes?
I said it was fine.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I get carried away sometimes.
Hey, it's okay. I'm not bothered by it. He takes my hand and leads me down an alleyway, down a hallway that I think I've been down before. I can't believe I haven't seen his room yet. Almost as maybe it hadn't been drawn
Yeah,
yet.
it wasn't.
Be nice.
I am being nice. That's just a fact of production. It's one thing. It's one thing when someone's like, "Why have we omitted this location? All the story long when the game's like made of photos or whatever." But when it's all drawings, you're like, "Yeah, I wonder why." I can't believe I haven't seen his room yet. That should be a good place to talk about what's happened. We arrive at a door, and he fumbles with his keys.
Sorry.
He finds the right key and unlocks the door. Warm air rushes into my face as he holds the door open for me. What is that a picture of? Is that a little drawing of Lyle on the right?
Yeah.
This whole little Lyle.
Need a self-portrait.
Is that also a painting of Lyle on the top? What is that? Looks like the back of a wolf's head. It's harder to make out.
The fireplace seems like it's like a really badass, edgy, like literally embers flying through the air, like back silhouette of a wolf, like holding its claw out.
Yeah.
I can
like
see
cape billowing.
And then there's just a goofy brush right under it.
Yeah.
Curtain makes me nervous near the fireplace.
next to the fire.
Yeah. And the brush. Let's see. Picture of a hand. All right, because doesn't Lyle draw?
Yeah.
Mhm. He's got a little map with markers on it. I wonder what he's investigating.
Just fucking up his bedside table with that dagger there.
Just stabbed it in. It does have sudden pirate vibes with the dagger stabbed in and these lit candles, naked candles on the table. And then one little flower. Just a little guy. Oh wow. My senses immediately get overrun by the color red. He steps past me as I stand by the doorway and walks over to his bedside table. Lots of red.
Oh, yes. I love red. It's my favorite color.
Really?
Of course. I like it because it's warm and vibrant. It's also just nice to look at.
I watch him fumble with some things on his dresser and take this moment to look around. The fireplace is really nice, and I can feel the warmth of the fire wrapping around my legs. Above the mantel is a big painting. It's a dynamic portrait of a wolf warrior shrouded in a hood.
Oh, wait, I can see it now.
Ah. Couldn't tell, yeah, what the... I could tell that it's the back of the wolf's head, because the snout and ear, I could make that much out. He looks a bit like Lyle, but his fur is more a reddish color. Sparks fly up around his figure, and the painting almost looks menacing. I turn my gaze down and notice a brush sitting on the mantle. There's a few long hairs sticking out of it. I guess this is what Lyle uses to tame that mane of his. I put down the brush and explore the other side of the room. Lyle seems pretty occupied right now. I see him throwing a bunch of stuff into a drawer. I didn't notice until I got closer, but his bed is massive. It's probably a normal size for him, but to me it's huge. So is everything. The fact that it's a canopy bed doesn't help. I'm pretty sure this room and everything in it was built for larger animals. I look over to Lyle and see what's behind him. Are those your drawings?
Yeah. They're just sketches, though. Nothing really great to look at.
And a candle menacingly close to this flammable object. I lean around and take a look at some of the drawings. Oh, wow. Lyle, these are really good.
Thanks.
He steps to the side and I walk up to the wall, where his drawings are. Each one is an intricate sketch. Paws, flowers, there's even a drawing of a mountain landscape. Closer to the bottom is a self-portrait. I can imagine Lyle sitting in front of a mirror, drawing himself. I don't think I could do that. I've never been that artistically inclined. He's smiling in the portrait. It looks really cute. On the table is a couple of sketchbooks, some coin, and a dagger stuck into a spot where I can see he's stabbed it multiple times. I think back to people in brothels throwing their knives into the bar counter out of boredom. There's also some lit candles that aren't even in candle holders. Their wax spills out onto the top of the dresser and dries up. I guess he's a bit of a slob. It's like the cleanest, most carefully put together room I've ever seen. But one little patch has this weird bundle of candles and knife. What a slob. The one part that stands out the most, though, is a large piece of parchment. Whoa. Oh, hello, the map of the game. Are those the sites of attacks, I wonder? There's Driz.
There's even more subtitles than I remember.
Driz,
tiny
Aaron,
text.
Lyre. So they're kind of equidistant-ish. In a big old triangle.
It's like, yeah, I was going to say a triangle.
Lord's Bend, Diamond Pond.
Badlands.
Lover's Lake. That's a Zelda reference. It's just straight up the heart-shaped lake, the Lover's Lake in Zelda. That's in like half the games. Let's see.
So we're from Aaron. Driz is the places that Kadaj is from.
Yeah. What kind of references or things might be around here? Is that another Heart Lake? The Soundless Stream? The Shadow Gulch.
That's the main thing. I'm trying to like kind of gauge how many of these locations have we heard of at to any degree. Because I imagine that, Atmac's not just randomly like pick a name, do whatever. It's like Atmac probably has a lot imagined here that may or may not ever make it on paper. It's kind of wild to think about how much could be tied up in this.
I'm wondering how many... I was wondering if the X's were the attack locations, and then I was thinking like, well, there's no attack location that makes sense for us, but then I remembered that we don't currently think that we were attacked by bandits. It just seems obvious to us that it probably was. But there probably wouldn't be an X in the Mountain Cross because they haven't come to the conclusion that he was attacked. It was Kadaj that was attacked on the way here. more definitively. I don't know what the X's would be then, because yeah, even if they were bandit attacks, you'd expect them to be on roads, and only 3 of them are made on the are even close to the main roads, like the triangle. And also one of them's just in Aaron.
The one in Driz,
just in the middle. Yeah. I'm not sure. There's a map of Tigran drawn on it. It's extremely detailed, right down to every village.
Oh, don't read that. You may like my drawings, but my handwriting is not pretty.
It's almost font-like. Your handwriting is very good, don't put yourself down. There's a bunch of red marks on different parts of the map. What are those for? I point to one of the marks.
Oh, those. Those are,
So I bury things, and I have to keep track of them.
Those are all places I want to go.
Aww.
The world is my backyard. I've left treats.
Like the other 2 kingdoms in Nero's clearing. I also really want to go here.
He points to a place on the map that's just above Aaron.
I've heard that this river is beautiful during the summer.
I've been there before. The Lord's Bend is a beautiful river. I didn't get to see much of it, though. But from what I saw, it's nice. He guides his finger down to an island off the coast of Driz.
Have you ever been here?
I take a closer look, but I instantly know what he's looking at. The Parched Labyrinth? No, I can't say I have. Like you, I've only been to places near or just outside Aaron. Although I've heard that it's very dangerous there. I'm pretty sure it's an almost uninhabitable jungle.
I want to go there someday. Just to see it.
Maybe one day your duties will take you there. You never know. He stares at the map with a dreamy look in his eyes.
I hope so.
I look at the other spots he's marked, and one stands out to me. Lover's Lake.
Huh? Oh, yes. I wanted to see that lake eventually. Because it's shaped like a heart.
Kinda looks like balls to me. You're in a dangerous territory whenever the heart's upside down. He looks down at the ground and sits on the bed, letting out a big sigh.
I'm sorry for earlier.
Lyle, I said you don't have to apologize.
No, I do. I shouldn't have even pried. I didn't know that people would be listening. That was a conversation we should have had here.
It's me who should be apologizing. I shouldn't have been so, you know. But I swear, I had no idea about the stigma of interspecies relationships.
I believe you. But yes, interspecies relationships are a bit taboo in Lyre. Most of the general public finds it a bit weird. In some cases, it's acceptable, but a human and a wolf?
Why those ones?
Yeah, really. Forget it. We'd be the laughingstock of the entire kingdom.
Wow. I had no idea it was like that. Word of Lyre doesn't spread much outside the kingdoms, and it's definitely not nothing like that in Aaron.
Really?
Of course. It's completely normal. Even with the large human population, people still fall in love with other species.
No kidding.
We wrote a special setting where the humans are the least racist ones of all. That seems incredibly unrealistic. Oop. He falls back onto his bed and sighs.
I have to get out of this kingdom.
Speaking of kingdom, what about the party? Shouldn't you be doing your job there? Not that I'm not enjoying your company. His tail swishes between his legs, rubbing up against the bed sheets.
Nah, I got someone to cover for me. It's fine.
The king is dead! For just a moment, all that can be heard is the fireplace, the crackling of the logs and the dancing of the flames. You know, you never did answer my question.
Hmm?
He sits up in his bed, and we're now eye level. What were you hoping I would respond with?
No.
It's okay. You probably already know how I feel about you. It's painfully obvious. I feel my throat tighten as those next words come out. I don't care what anybody thinks. I only care what you think. As far as I'm concerned, you're the only person I genuinely care about. I love you, Lyle. Everything about you. Fuck those people. They don't even have sprites. They're not even real. His eyes widen, and I can feel myself getting nervous. That taste hits the back of my throat that usually happens when I'm on an adrenaline rush, or when I'm scared. I wouldn't have made it through these past couple of weeks without you. And damn everyone in this castle and their prejudice. My hands are fidgeting and I catch myself intertwining my fingers together. My legs are shaking and I feel like I'm about to vomit. If you don't want to be together because of what people might think, I understand. I could care less about my reputation, but I wouldn't want to damage yours. So you could care less. If that's the way that if that's the way it has to be, then... Before I even know it, our lips have met and he's passionately kissing me. My heart skips a beat and I freeze up. His lips are warm and press into mine firmly. I kiss him back and soon we're lustfully embracing each other. I exhale out my nose and wrap my arms around him. I'm now sitting on top of him as he leans back, further under the bed. His tongue slowly works its way past my lips and I succumb to his desires. There's no holding back as we explore each other. I can feel his sharp teeth on my mouth and it feels weird, but good. His slightly wet nose presses against mine and I feel a puff of hot breath on my face. We both open our eyes and pull back to take a breath. He envelops me in a tight hug and pulls me down onto the bed. His warm embrace feels too good, and I hug him back. I lose myself in his warmth. I'm grinning ear to ear and feel myself lost in his passionate thoughts. The sound of his tail rapidly thumping against the bed in pure bliss. He tightens his grip and kisses me on the forehead.
I love you, Richter. You're the best thing that has ever happened to me.
Will you be my item crash? His cheeks are deep red and he has the...
I'm sorry, what was that?
It's so stupid. It's
No,
fucking...
Item crash?
In Symphony of the Night, Richter has the ability to use items to... He destroys items to cast absurdly powerful spells that are like screen spanning. He's the secret overpowered New Game Plus character that you get by beating the game and then typing Richter as your name, and you play as the guy that's overpowered from the intro chapter. The Die Monster!
Oh,
You don't
okay,
belong
wow.
in this world! It's all I can think about because the protagonist is named Richter in this game.
I got you. Yeah, that's some real video game history right there.
Uh-huh. I'm a 90s kid.
I should play any Castlevania ever someday.
Yeah.
Should watch the anime.
You should play specific Castlevanias. There's about as many bad ones as good ones.
I heard the
That
Game
seems to
Boy
be the
ones are
case.
really good.
You're pretty much good from like starting from Symphony of the Night all the way through like Order of Ecclesia, but before and after that, it's more give and take. Before Symphony of the Night, they were just action games. They weren't Metroidvanias, and after the DS games, you get a really mixed bag of strange like God of War clones and other type departures.
Mm.
You Konami.
Yep. His cheeks are a deep red, and he has this awkward smile on his face. It's like he's been waiting to say those words all day. I feel the exact same way. I also main holy water. No, I roll over on, on top of him and give him another kiss. It's not as long as the one before, but he enjoys it just as much.
Oh.
What is it?
Someone's a little excited.
He nods down to my groin, and I finally realize that I'm almost fully erect, tented in my pants, and somewhat jabbing him in the stomach. He's smirking at me. I get a bit flustered. Hee hee. I guess you're just a really good kisser.
I am.
His tail wags more, thumping against the bed. I move my hand down to his crotch and slowly rub his bulge. It's quite big, just like I remember it being. He's not erect like me, but he'll get there. He'll get there. This elicits a slight whimper from him. I honestly expected a moan or a grunt. Something wrong?
It's just...
You think I've forgotten about the display you put on for me all those weeks ago? This caused him to turn completely red in the face.
It's not like that. I was just taking a bath.
He was not. I place a finger over his muzzle. Don't you want to give me another show? He lets out a quiet noise of embarrassment before giving me his answer.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
After that, I take off his jacket and shirt. His large, muscular chest is now fully visible. Each pectoral is thick and makes him look so powerful. He helps me a little bit by taking off his gloves, and then we get to his pants. I get down on my knees as he leans against the bed, and I start to undo his belt. I rub my hand over his furry lower stomach as I pull his belt out through his loops. A wide grin appears on his face, and he even starts to kick his leg a little bit. Grabbing both sides of his trousers, I begin to pull them down. His bulge comes into view as I tug his pants down around his knees. It's tightly packed into his undergarments, begging to be released. I grope the bulge between his legs, firmly rubbing my hand over it. I can feel it getting harder with each second that passes. It pushes out further and further against his underwear, the cloth straining. He's shaking slightly, and soft moans escape his lips as his tail wags behind him. Seeing this, I lean closer to his crotch, but before my face touches it, I lean around to his side and grab his rear with both hands.
I'm sorry, can we get an H real quick? Can we just get a hide that UI just for science? Yeah, that is damn. That is a mouse pad of an ass if I've ever seen it.
We've all seen the mouse pad.
Yeah. It's the way that the little Fudoshi thing is like really wedged in there.
Yup, no, it cannot contain this.
No details are missed.
This causes him to jump slightly, but he quickly eases into my touch. I knead his butt slowly as his tail sways from side to side. It feels just as big as it looks, each cheek strong, yet also plush and soft. Knowing how eager he is, I grab both sides of his underwear and pull down. The strap slowly slides over the shelf of his rump. The shelf of his giant ass. And the bulge in the front eases its way forward. Wow.
Are you okay with,
Lyle, you're gorgeous. His tail is now thumping loudly against the mattress.
Thanks.
He sits back down on the front of the bed, and I shuffle forward on my knees. It's warm and heavy. His body jumps a bit at my touch, so I go a bit slower. You're really pent up, huh?
Only a little. I haven't done something like this in a long time.
That's okay. I'll go at whatever pace you want. The implication of the groin.
A beautiful transition.
Because I
Box extends.
made sure to get the game censored by just swapping out the visuals with ones that have boxes over them. But the censor bar growing is very funny in real time.
That's more than a 7-inch black box right there. I'm going to say that right now.
Nothing I can't handle, though. Being able to worship his body like this is wonderful. His tail is swishing side to side, and when I look up, I can see him biting his lip with his head tilted back. He lays down on his back, and I reach up and grab one of his pecs.
I want to see you.
See me what?
No, I mean, I want to see you.
Oh.
Can I?
He goes to unbutton my coat, and a chill runs over my entire body. I feel his big paws run all over me as he takes off my clothes. I'm shirtless by the time he starts to go up and down my torso, planting kisses on the bare skin. I watch him look me up and down with his focused eyes. His gaze falling on me like this makes me feel a bit shy. I spread my arms out to the side as if to show off my body. I'm not as big as you, but...
Richter, you're breathtaking.
I can feel my cheeks flush a deep red after he says this. He reaches forward and runs his paw over one of my scars.
Whoa. How did you get these?
Oh. It's nothing important. I can't even remember why half of them are there. He chuckles. What?
I guess you're just as scruffy as me. Just gonna breeze past that.
He runs his finger over his scar. He stands up and we both fall into a soft embrace. Paws run up and down my back as he gently caresses me. I rub my hands all throughout his soft mane and practically bury my face into his neck fluff. He throws back the curtains and pushes me onto the bed. I fall back onto the large mattress and bounce around for a second. His large figure looms over me like a shadow. I think these boys might be gay.
Consistently sparkly wolf.
Lyle's on his paws and knees, looking into my eyes with a mischievous grin on his face.
Sure.
Yeah? I say this while grunting.
I want you inside of me.
I quickly sit up from the bed. Huh?
Completely capable of taking you. I mean, we don't have to if you'd rather me.
Hey, Lyle. He looks up at me. I'm fine with doing whatever you want. You get to choose.
Really? I get the text box?
Of course. He quickly crawls around onto the bed and positions himself behind me. I feel his paws on my shoulders as he lays me down onto the bed. My head is now at the foot of the bed. I watch him clumsily lean over towards the dresser and pull a jar out from the top drawer. It's a jar again! It's always a jar.
Lube jar.
The lube jar.
You had that at the ready, too.
I'm so viscerally upset once again by the idea of having to open and close a jar for lube.
Oh, it's in the fire.
Yeah, and then having to, like, just have to stick your fingers into it to get it out. Like,
yeah, I assume it's like Vaseline, but even then, it's like medieval Vaseline is probably made of something awful. You never want to imagine what medieval lube is.
He hands it to me and I open the lid. Exactly what I thought it was. The jar is full of lubricant, with a few small finger marks that have run through it. It smells like flowers and other natural oils. I run my fingers through it and get a nice amount. At this point, he's already straddled me. He's being careful to not put his full weight on my body. Crush me. Sup? With the power of censoring, we don't have to have the text covered so we can actually read it. So that it's not covered in the video, I mean. I think I'm editing some of this out, though. This is
the pure explicit.
Yeah, it might be too much sustained sex scene depiction to leave in a YouTube video compared to the implication of the scenes that are interwoven throughout it. I enter him slowly, which causes him to moan with joy. I let out a moan too, because it feels fantastic.
Not quite as much as the full triangulation of having to black out the one in Adastra, but we're getting there. I just love how much this leaves to the imagination. It's like just literally, like Richter is just destroyed in the scene.
Yeah. Lyle has blasted a hole in the wall with his special beam cannon. After a few moments, I pull out of him and he leans over my body, both of us panting.
Love you, Richter.
He's smiling at me with the grin that always makes my heart skip a beat. I love you too, Lyle. Ta-da!
Afterglow. There's a lot less Lyle lines in that than I was expecting to have to read, but
yeah,
there we go.
Interspersed. It's been a few minutes since we've finished, and we're laying next to each other holding hands. Thunder rumbles outside of the window, and it's calming in an odd sort of way. It's nice being safe and warm in here during what's most likely a small blizzard. His paw is much bigger than my hand, than my head, probably. And I feel so safe with it resting there. Wow.
Yeah. You are amazing, my love.
He squeezes my hand a bit, saying this in a mocking tone. You're calling me that now?
I mean, only if you want me to.
I don't know.
What would you prefer I call you?
Richter?
I mean, other than that.
Well, I always liked love. It's simple and it rolls off the tongue.
Very well.
So he objects to my. He crosses his arms with a bit of a grin. What?
What about my lord?
But like with eyes. Like daddy. God, Lyle, you know I hate that.
Really? I find it sexy.
I giggle at this and roll over on top of him. Fine.
Is it really? I can't imagine Lyle saying the word sexy and it not coming off as just the most like awkward. Sexy.
Sexy. You can only call me my lord under very specific circumstances.
Like?
When we're alone together. When your paw is entwined with my hand. Moments like this. He brings his paws up around my arms, slowly moving them up to my shoulders and then to the side of my face. I can feel his paws brushing against my beard slightly as he caresses my cheek. His other paw then moves back down and holds my hand gently.
Very well. My lord.
He leans forward and presses his lips to mine. I give in and kiss him back, taking the back of his head in my hand. My hands run through his thick mane as he runs his paws up and down my back. I pull away from him and he gasps his pleasure, sitting up. And what will you have me call you? I can see him thinking about it. Pal?
Hell no.
Buddy?
No?
Good boy? I swear I can see his tail start to wag for just a moment before he reaches around and places his paw on it.
Very funny. But no, absolutely not. I was thinking something more along the lines of my knight, if that's okay with you. It goes along with yours. But love also works.
I rest my head onto his chest and rub my cheek onto his fur. My knight. I say this in a swooning voice, which caused him to laugh.
You don't have to say it like that.